You know, every resume tells a story, but are we really reading it right? Today, we're going to decode a real-world resume piece by piece and really uncover the hidden story and the strategies behind this super important document. So let's get into it.
Okay, so this is what we're working with. At first glance, yeah, it's a list of dates and titles. But if you look just a little bit closer, you start to see a really carefully crafted story. Our job is to figure out what that story is, and more importantly, how it's being told. Let's start right at the top.
Think about it. The very top of any resume, that's its digital handshake. It's the absolute first thing anyone sees, and its entire job is to introduce the main character of our story, and do it fast.
So this header section is all about getting information across efficiently. In just a few seconds, a recruiter gets the who, the what, and the where. The goal here is basically zero friction. Can I figure out who this is and how to contact them instantly? If the answer is yes, well, the header has totally done its job. And this is where the tone for the whole story gets set. Is it clean, is it professional, or is it kind of sloppy? A polished header doesn't just show you have attention to detail, it tells the reader, hey, this is a serious professional story and it's worth your time.
All right, now we get to the real meat of the story. Education and employment. This section is the backbone of the whole narrative, where the candidate's journey really starts to unfold.
So this timeline shows a pretty clear educational path, right? But wait a minute, look at that employment entry. A CEO role that starts almost 2 years before their intermediate schooling even began. Now that is our first major plot twist. Is this a family business? A startup? This one single data point just raised a ton of questions and adds a whole new layer of complexity to our main character.
I mean, the title CEO carries a lot of weight. It implies you're the one in charge, you have significant experience. So the big question is, how does a title like that fit into the story of someone who's still in the early stages of their formal education?
And this is really the central mystery of this resume, isn't it? What does being a CEO mean for someone who's early in their career? On one hand, it could signal incredible ambition, a real entrepreneurial spirit. Or it could just be an inflated title for a pretty small operation. The rest of the resume needs to give us the clues to solve this.
And that's exactly where we're going next. This is the section where the resume adds color and depth. We're talking skills, languages, even hobbies, all the things that make one candidate really stand out from another.
Okay, this self-assessment is really revealing. The perfect scores in driving and team building suggest a very hands-on, operational kind of role. This isn't some boardroom CEO. This is someone who is right there on the ground leading a team. And that slightly lower score in project management, that's actually a pretty interesting piece of self-awareness that adds a little bit of authenticity.
And when you see it visualized like this, it just confirms the story. The highest rated skills are practical, they're interpersonal. This paints a super clear picture of a leader who's probably more focused on operations and people management than on high-level strategy. And that fits perfectly with the idea of a CEO role in a smaller, more hands-on company. See? The pieces are coming together. You know, language skills are always a huge plus. Here we've got full fluency in Urdu and high proficiency in English. That shows an ability to communicate really effectively in at least 2 major business languages, which of course broadens their potential reach and versatility in a big way.
And hey, even a small detail like a hobby can add to the story. Traveling suggests curiosity, adaptability. For a young CEO, those are absolutely crucial traits. It hints at a willingness to learn and explore new ideas. It's just another small piece that reinforces this narrative of an ambitious and open-minded person.
So we've broken this resume down into all its core parts. What does it all add up to? What have we really learned about how you can craft a compelling professional story?
I think the biggest takeaway here is that a resume is a narrative, not just a list. Every single choice, from the font you pick to the skills you highlight, adds to your story. The timeline gives us the plot, the skills give us the character's abilities, and all together, they create a portrait of a professional. The real question is it the right portrait for the job you want?
And that leaves us with one final thought. I mean, this single-page format has been the standard for decades, but as our careers get more and more dynamic, they're documented on places like LinkedIn, on personal websites. How is this concise one-page story going to have to adapt and evolve to really capture the complexity of a modern professional life? That is definitely something to think about.